Hello, thank you, Marcelo. My school is one of the 20 schools belonging to the institution of Escola Pia de Catalunya. You got a map there and a picture of my school. No, you don't. Sorry. Now you do. Yeah. Now you see the picture of my wonderful school. There are approximately 2,000 students in my school, from 3 to over 20 years old, because it's a vocational training. Last year, I was a teacher and facilitator involved in CRISS, with a group, well, actually 4 groups of 30 students in their last year at high school, which means that they were in 16-year-olds, lovely age. It was a great experience altogether. We had our ups and downs, but the process, I think, has been an opportunity for learning for both us teachers and our students. Okay, we got involved in the project a couple of years ago, or, well, I don't know exactly. But anyway, the thing is that Escola Pia has a project, an ambitious project called Symposium, which is also about working in a collaborative way, working with projects, and with the integration of ICT tools. So CRISS appeared as an opportunity for us. We could make our contribution with our experience in teaching for more than 100 years, and also the experience in the project we had from Symposium, and working with ITC as they are part of our everyday teaching. So CRISS appeared as an opportunity to find a way for this certification and assessment of the digital competence. There is in our country an official institution which certifies digital competence, but age was a problem for us since there was a restriction, and our students, as I said before, are under 16 years old. So again, CRISS was that opportunity for us. This is the total number of students involved in the pilot belonging to the institution. My school, again, is Escola Pia Sarrià. This was at the beginning, and this was in June, the situation in June, right? So that you understand the code of colors, there was a dropout in red. That was because of internal reasons of the school. They have nothing to do with the project. The schools in orange they were active in CRISS, but few activities were done and they were not evaluated. Yeah, and some of them took the scenarios to other platforms, external platforms, not the CRISS platform. So we have the schools in green, who were active from the beginning till the end. And most of them could get a certification. We also have 2 schools, well, this was mostly in secondary level, but there were 2 schools, Escola Pia Mataró and also Escola Pia Granollers, who adapted one of these scenarios for primary students successfully. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about 3 key issues for us. The pedagogical approach, technical issues, and the certification. Right, one of the strong parts and valuable parts of CRISS for us is this framework and mapping, which is the connection between the indicators of the digital competence and the activities within the tasks in these scenarios. This connection is strongly built, and there's strong pedagogical coherence, right? This is something that the teachers remarked. Also, it is innovative, it is inspirational, and provides the scientific evidence. It's not just a feeling, you've got the evidence that all acquisition of areas within the digital competence are actually acquired, so that there is this acquisition. Also, the framework tackles the areas which are not traditionally covered when working with the digital competence, and sometimes are invisible, well, most of the times are invisible for teachers. As an example, Area 1, digital citizenship, and Area 5, digital problem solving. And we had to solve lots of problems, and we learned a lot from that. Also, the scenarios in the pedagogical approach. they're fantastic because you've got the library of scenarios with a variety of projects to choose from. However, we also think that the scenario should integrate different subjects from the curriculum, so not so centered in specific subjects like social studies or maths and others, right? Our students really enjoyed working with the tasks because they are engaging, they are appealing for teachers both in the topics and the contents. The colors, the design of the activities was really engaging, and it connected with the reality of the students every day as far as technology is concerned. Something also very positive is that these tasks can be adapted to suit the teachers and the students' needs. For example, one of the scenarios I worked on was to publish a digital newspaper, but since my students were in their last year at high school and we already have a digital newspaper, I changed that into publish a yearbook. So they really enjoyed like gathering all those year experiences and high school experiences and transferring that into a yearbook, and that was meaningful for them. So as I said, the scenarios, the tasks are meaningful and contextualized rather than isolated tasks you do in one of these subjects, like you do a PowerPoint presentation here, you open a Google Drive file there. So CRISS offers, and these scenarios specifically offer this contextualized framework for integrating the digital competence. So concerning the assessment, we thought that the system of rubrics for evaluation, the students' evidences, offers this objective framework to grade your students' work, and this is fantastic. And the rubrics are also clear for students. We share the rubrics with students so that they knew what they will be assessed on, and it was a great guide for them. However, as we understand, evaluation and assessment in Escola Pia de Catalunya is students are also have to be part of this evaluation, and we thought that most of the assessment was teacher-centered. So we would appreciate to have like a co-evaluation and self-evaluation as part of the this process, right? Also, we would like to point out that the teacher's workload in the assessment of these rubrics is important, right? As I said, I was responsible for 4 groups of 30 students, so you can imagine how many evidences I had to assess, right? So I think the reduction of the teacher's workload could be done by with a long-term planning of scenarios. We understand this is a pilot and it took, well, it ran for a year. We see ideally this long-term planning as a way to avoid these stressful situations in terms of workload. As an example, 1,300 tasks were generated for a group of 30 students. Right, technological issues. Of course, as I said, we understand this is a pilot and errors have to come up in order to be solved. So the pilot has been an opportunity for us, teachers and students, to detect technical problems and solve them. As somebody said before, my students have also taught me how to solve things regarding the technology and usability of the platform. So it's been a two-way learning process and really, really valuable, right? Some students kept a record of technical problems, and I was going over the notes, and most of them said, well, we have to be patient, and next day will be a new day and a new opportunity. Yeah, so it was great, yeah, they were really great. We have mostly used 2 work environments, right? The portfolio as a working interface and the learning analytics, which shows the results and the progress side. You've got 2 screenshots here. Sorry. Okay. As for the students' e-portfolio, we think that it offers this visual record of the students' work throughout the years, right? So it's an interesting collection of the tasks they create. But these can be improved with some recommendations. From the teacher's point of view, maybe this is because of the way we're used to working, but we would appreciate that the platform had integrated this interactive online gradebook, as we call it, so that we as teachers could have this global view of the students' performance regarding almost everything: submission of tasks, evaluation, and with a powerful filter system to find these tasks in the gradebook. One of the drawbacks is that there's no room for learning from mistakes. I mean, once these students submitted the tasks, these could not be improved or changed by the students. And sometimes they failed submitting the task because there was a misunderstanding. It was not because the tasks were bad, for example. So we would appreciate this room for improvement so that the students can learn from their mistakes, if there were mistakes. Right, so concerning learning analytics, the other platform we used, well, which is integrated in the same platform, but the other tool we used, we thought this was very powerful for both teachers and students because it provided these visual overview of their performance with colors. This is really visual for both teachers and students to see which competences are going on the right track and to detect where there's a weakness, right? However, there were problems with the synchronizing data. So this is something we would also appreciate, this real-time update of data, because some students were kind of impatient to see the percentage of the digital competence achievement change. So they submitted a task and they checked the percentage whether it had moved or not, and well, we had to teach them to relax a bit and wait for that update. So this real-time update of data would be really, really, really useful. Learning analytics is also a powerful tool because it allows this customized teaching learning process. So as I said before, you as a teacher, just with the colors, you can detect those areas of performance which are weak and need to be improved, and then you can plan specific tasks so that the student can pass this weakness and overcome this weakness. So the third thing which was really valuable for us, and this connects to what I said at the beginning, is certification, right? We had lots of students certified, especially partial certification. This was a great thing for us, this kind of rewards, right? To have the student give these reward at the end of the whole process. The system of budgets, the complete competence achievement, although at my school we couldn't make it because of time constraints and the organization within the school. But we did get the sub-competence, one sub-competence at least. So the certificate gives a detailed report for students, but also for parents on the students' performance. So to conclude, we would like to point out that CRISS has enabled the detection of the areas which are rarely visible before, as I said, for the teacher, especially those two. CRISS has also offered our students an engaging way to work collaboratively within a meaningful framework, not just isolated tasks. And these scenarios are perfect to provide these contexts with integrated activities and the use of ITC. For us, this long-term planning of scenarios would be ideal. In different school years, starting from year 6 primary, this is 10 years old, to year 11 secondary, which is 16, so that the workload for teachers is not stressful, and also for students. If we have like different teachers from different subjects, with different perspectives. It enriches the whole process, and also the workload is reduced. As for the improvement in the usability of the platform, we insist on having this board for teachers, is how we have named it, this board for teachers, showing and collecting the status and progress of the students' tasks, those submitted, those pending, those evaluated, with a direct access to the tasks. And this board for teachers would include this gradebook, showing performance and kept the record of the results and the grades. And finally, as previously said, this possibility of rectification would be very much appreciated, so that students could improve these unsatisfactory submitted tasks and learn from mistakes. Thank you.
So in theory, if it would be in the future for multiple subjects, then the one scenario would need to be implemented by several teachers, not only one.
Yeah, this is what I said. I mean, we are already working that way with the big project SUMEM, right? And this SUMEM is composed by different also itineraries, we call it kind of scenarios, but these are cross-curriculum, so different subjects and teachers are involved in the scenario. So that's why with it this is really important to involve subjects and to have this, not just one subject perspective, right, but to make it
You start with one teacher, the scenario, and then you continue with another, and you continue with another, and then you come back to the... Yes, I understand.
Yeah, the scenario tackles offers different tasks which are connected to different school subjects, right? So it's all part of the same scenario and the same
I'm sorry, I have someone else that wants to ask a question.
Well, I have here some colleagues of mine from other schools. Yeah, they can also help me out with the questions.
Thanks. I was interested in seeing more about the learning analytics and some of the reflections from the student perspective. I was wondering if you have any immediate reflections in terms of the teacher perspective. There's a lot of work in learning analytics that talks about the implication in terms of what some people call learning design or lesson plans. So, for example, how you adjust the next lesson based on what you saw in the learning analytics. I was wondering if any of that was happening and if you have any thoughts on that.
Not me, but my colleagues, yeah. Ismail, yeah.
Yeah. To my point of view, the best thing would be that learning analytics and the platform synchronize at real time. And also the feedback for the students would be better than it is now. So and also for the teachers, learning analytics can be a really powerful tool if we have time to analyze for each student. So in my opinion, this is the main point for learning analytics.
Okay, just if you have the possibility to tell a few words about how you adapted the scenario. How was this process of adaptation? But in a few words, please, because we don't have a lot of time.
The newspaper?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it was very easy because the first thing I had to do is to have a clear image of what I wanted my students to do. Mm-hmm. And since a yearbook is a collection of experiences, we included videos. The students themselves have recorded from excursions and from parties and school parties, I mean, yeah. And so we worked in groups because we already work in a cooperative way. So we work in groups like my colleague here from Sevilla. There were different responsibilities within each of the group. The best students in English were the coordinators and language coordinators who reviewed the students' production of English. The weakest students were in charge of designing and think about the colors, the sections, which section they would give more importance, etc. So everybody got a role in the group, and everybody participated in the production of the yearbook, which was done with portability. Yeah. And then we had to decide on the topics. Well, they decided on the topics, actually. I just said yes, because they were great. So they decided on the topics, the design. We used Google Drive, so they had to share everything in Google Drive, so I could control that they were producing work.
Mm-hmm.
They kept a record of this technological issue thing and how they solved the problem. And at the beginning, of course, there was this work plan. And they just we used the ITC lab, and they worked collaboratively, and in the end they put everything into the portability with colors and everything, and I assessed their work as part of English. So if it was a review, that was like an essay for me, yeah. And also attitude. I kept a record, like a diary myself, a teacher's diary, to see performance, implication, and attitude in every single class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Conxi. Thank you very much.